this video, we're traveling to one of the most insane volcanoes on Earth to film a sci-fi sequence. Can an independent artist and a small team pull off Hollywood-level visual effects on not just one shot, but an entire sequence? I've always wanted to make a project like this, and I figure no one's going to give it a chance unless I just do it myself. And maybe if I show that's possible, others can do it too. I'm going to be using Blender and Nuke together to find out. My name's Alexe Hanneman. For the last decade, I've been working on feature films at some of the top studios like Weta Digital, ILM, and Sony Pictures, on films like Avengers, Star Wars, Spider-Verse, and a bunch of other movies. But in the last few years, I've been showing how to use Nuke and Blender together to be able to create projects from end to end. For the first time in history, I think the tools and technology are so readily available at a low enough cost that anyone can tell their own stories. And in this video, we're not just saying it, we're going all in to try to prove it. This will be weeks of work, hiring other artists, and flying to another country before a single shot even exists. And even worse, if I fail, maybe it proves the studio is right, that the work only belongs within the Hollywood studios, and that Blender is just a hobbyist tool. Challenge accepted. So a few months ago, we packed our bags and flew all the way to Iceland to film a variety of projects for this YouTube channel. No sci-fi sequence starts in a boring location.
Oh my god! Did you see the road? Yeah.
We walked the landscape until we finally reached the volcano. This is in Grindavik, Iceland. Volcano in Icelandic is pronounced Sunne.
What is Eyjafjallajökull?
Eyjafjallajökull.
Excuse me?
Eyjafjallajökull.
This volcano has miles of black lava rock terrain. This massive volcano is still active, erupting multiple times per year. There are active steam vents coming out of the lava, and the entire volcano smells like rotten eggs. My goal here is to find the most interesting patterns that I can 3D scan with my drone. As I fired up the drone, I had one thing in mind. I'm not just trying to capture a few rocks. To make a full scene, I need to capture entire portions of this terrain. The original idea was based on this very rough sketch of a character sitting on something, some kind of vehicle, and an explosion behind. So there's going to be a chase scene, and that means we're going to travel a long distance, and we can't scan that all at once. So I begin to fly my drone in orbiting patterns, trying to capture every angle of the terrain that I can. We can't miss a single piece here, otherwise we'll have holes. Also, I'm scanning in sections so that I'll recombine these later in Blender. Now I did run into one big problem. As soon as I get back on my computer, there are just thousands of images and you don't know which go together. It's as if someone dropped 1,000 pictures on your desk and says, reassemble these in each section where you photographed them. So I knew the drone took pictures on a 1-second timer while I was shooting this. So I thought maybe if I can find the gaps in time that are longer than 1 second, I can separate the pieces, and once they're separate, each section that is scanned will create a model. And finally, I had back my first results. I didn't just bring back a piece of real volcano, but a perfect digital representation of it. And out came this incredibly detailed model with millions of polygons and extremely high resolution textures. You can even get close to the ground for closer up shots, which is what we need for a photoreal sequence. With these insane assets, I can build a world that I have full control over placement, lighting, and camera composition. As we continued around Iceland to capture some of the best footage and assets from one of the most cinematic places on Earth, I even scanned entire mountain ranges for matte painting, as well as 360 images of cinematic skies, which we can use to light our 3D scene. But this was only the beginning. The thing about scanning an empty environment is all we have is the most epic empty landscape. No characters, no story, nothing to chase or run from. And so this second part of the build was going to become the most difficult part of this entire project. So I found this crazy mask, which is what the rider is going to wear. If Mad Max and the Mandalorian had a baby, this is probably what the project's going to look like. So all I had was a sketch of a vehicle, and we can't build the real vehicle like they would on a real movie because that would blow our budget. So we got to think outside the box a little bit. So we came up with this. Yes, this is literally just bicycle parts attached to a broomstick. So we might be lacking the industrial part from Industrial Light and Magic here. We might only have just a green screen on a garage and a few bicycle parts, but maybe with a few more helping hand specialists, we can build something greater than the sum of its parts. So I sent the 3D scan of my actor to a hard surface modeler / concept artist. He's going to model the vehicle to the exact dimensions of the actor. Next, I need these handlebars actually removed from the footage. I'm also going to remove the side of the jacket and replace it with a CG one to make it look like there's even stronger wind that we could get. Lastly, there's 10 shots to be tracked, so I'm going to send this to a match move team and also track the hands, which will stick to the CG vehicle. Now let's see what we get back. First, we get back our paintwork. This is invisible visual effects. Now we'll be able to put our CG vehicle and attach them to the hands. And while they were painting that, I 3D scanned the real jacket, which looks windier and I can attach it after. We'll check that out in the final composite. Next, I received the camera tracks and the tracking of the actor, and last but not least, the rider's vehicle. The whole project hinges on this looking amazing, so I had my fingers crossed. Anton fucking slayed it on this model, perfectly modeled to our 3D scan of our actor, and textured and detailed from every angle. Now that we have all these insane pieces, we just need to bring it together. I did a simple rig on the vehicle, which allows the vehicle's handlebars to move with the actor. Grabbing the tracking data, I connect the hands and the footage all together. Next, I move into camera animation, pre-visualizing some of the shots. The last big piece of the story still missing, the antagonist. I wanted to have a monolithic ship like a Rival or Dune, so Anton went through a few different designs and we settled on this. Now that all of the assets are ready, we can begin the third and final phase, the detailing phase. A few years ago, I watched a documentary and they were talking about how when sulfur burns, it creates blue flames. So I've always been inspired by this idea of blue flames mixed with blue lava, and so I'm going to integrate that into this project. Here I'm using the cavity maps from the models I generated to create lava in the cracks, and I created some lava shaders in Blender which I can mix into the terrain. I also did my matte painting in Nuke, and started to paint and sculpt some models as well. Here I'm using Substance Painter to create some geysers, and I'm using Comfy UI to generate some background assets that I can blend into my terrain. This can give us some interesting silhouettes in different forms that we couldn't have scanned otherwise. I'm projecting my Iceland photography back onto these models to actually get these to blend better into the scans that I captured. Here we can see before and after. I'm doing the same process here to create this crater, but using a multi-camera projection setup to blend. Now the next thing we do is actually blend this into the terrain. You don't want to have hard edges, so I created a variety of different tools for this project, but one of them was to convert terrains into projections, and now I can blend assets easily. But no interesting scene is completely static. To make this interesting, we need to get elements. So I hired multiple effects artists to get things like geyser smoke or dust explosions when there are bullet impacts, as well as debris and rocks and different variations of elements that we can add to make it interesting. I'm also using some past elements we created, such as these explosive sparks, which comes with Nuke templates to make it look cool. And I created some laser blast tool sets in Nuke as well. The last few elements I handle myself, such as sparks in Blender or creating some interactive smoke in Embergen. Here I'm also adding some lava textures that are animated using Comfy UI. I'm projecting these onto the 3D terrain in Blender, which I can blend perfectly in Nuke. This is how we can make it integrate well. Compositors are masters at layering atmosphere, which is what gives that cinematic look to shots. And I needed to create one more tool. This is the Compositing Academy Relight tool, which has self-shadowing. It's the best relighting tool out there, and we can use it to integrate our character driving past these blue light sources. Here we can see the layering of the composite of all the decisions we made along the entire way. And so it all started with a crazy idea. Now we can look at the result and ask the question, is a Blender Nuke combination just for hobbyists? So guys, that's the rider. Make sure to hit thumbs up and comment if you like this so we can keep making more stuff. So I want to mention that this project is actually an expansion of all the projects we've been doing in the past. It's a concept I've been thinking about for a while. If you look at one of the top films this summer, The Backrooms, it was directed by Kane Parsons, who was messing around on Blender, making short films on YouTube, and he was able to direct a film using those skills. But the thing is, to actually get projects from end to end, you need at least 5 disciplines: shooting, VFX supervision, 3D, lighting, and compositing. So instead of being a siloed off specialist, I see this as a new type of generalist that is forming, and I'm calling it the full stack filmmaker framework. So it doesn't just require these skills to pull it off, it also requires tools and infrastructure. I saw a lot of tools and infrastructure in the studio, so I've been adapting those concepts into a smaller format that independents and small teams can pick up. There's a difference between brute forcing through one VFX shot and doing a scalable system that you can actually grow and direct entire sequences. So this whole framework, the skills, the pipeline, the tools, and the assets that were in this project are going to be included in this new course. It's available for pre-order now if you check the link in the description. If you want to bring projects end to end, this is for you. That's about it, guys, and thanks for watching.